All right, let's go. All right, Tim, what do you got there today?
Okay, Dal, before we get into some questions and some stuff that's happened, I got to ask you a question, Dad, about the Leafs. I know people are sick of us talking about the Leafs, but everybody wants to know. So they won their last 2 games.
Yeah.
They beat Boston, but they were outshot 35-17.
Yeah.
And then they beat the Rangers, and they were outshot 36-27.
You can't do that in the playoffs. It's just impossible. When you play the same team time after time after time, you can't be outshot.
Outshot. So here's a stat, Del, that's pretty crazy. I looked up.
Yeah.
The Leafs lead the NHL with wins while being outshot. So winning the games and being outshot by the other team. They've won 23 games
No.
when they were outshot, and poor Edmonton has won 5 when they've been outshot, and the Leafs have won 23.
Can't happen. Can't happen in the playoff. That's what happens to them in the playoffs.
You get too much. So when you were coaching, like what amount of shots were you happy
25.
with? 25 shots you were happy with.
I was happy with 25 shots.
So if the other team got 30, you were...
Yeah, if they got 30-some shots, I was unhappy. Even with the win.
Yeah,
Even with the win.
because you know something's wrong.
Something's coming.
Yeah.
No back checking. That's what that is. Too many shots and not back checking good enough.
Well, I mean, but the Leafs, I mean, they're going to have to rely on... Well, it's Stolzar that's playing good.
Of course, goaltending has a lot to do with in the playoffs.
Yeah. But I just think if you're... Especially the Leafs, because you're going to play either Florida and Tampa, if not both of them.
You know, to get out of their division, that is tough.
That's tough. Yeah. Like, Del, you and I were talking.
Yep.
If they were in the other division, Eastern...
It's not bad.
No,
it
would
good.
be... I think they would have no problem getting out of that division.
Yeah, but that's tough, the division they're in.
Right, because the one thing that the Leafs don't want is a big, tough, mean team. And they're going to play
And they're going to play Florida.
Florida, which is who leads the league in hits.
Yeah.
And then they just got Seth Jones, a big defenseman.
And he'll pick it up.
You think he will?
Oh, he's been playing lousy in Chicago.
Yeah.
He really was playing lousy.
But maybe the pressure's off him now, in one sense, that he's not going to be the top defenseman.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah, well, he got 7 goals, so, you know, they didn't give up much. I got Spencer Knight's not a bad goalie.
No, he's not.
So hell play a lot in Chicago.
He'll play. I would assume he'll play most of the games in Chicago.
And then Chicago eats $2.5 million a year of his contract for the next 5 years.
Well,
poor Leafs. Things just got tougher for them.
oh, okay.
But here's another thing, Dad, too, before we get on the questions. So I'm watching the Leaf game on Friday. It's weird the Leafs not on Saturday night, isn't it?
Pardon me?
It's weird the Leafs aren't on Saturday night, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is weird. And
Throws the entire weekend off.
It does. It doesn't seem like Saturday.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like...
So I'm watching the game on Friday, 30 seconds in, penalty.
Yeah.
I'm watching the Edmonton game, 30
The
seconds.
referees are right back to where they were. You'd think that they let up a little bit.
You think they'd learn from the Four Nations Cup?
I don't understand that. I don't understand it at all. Somebody must be talking to them.
So are they talking to him, don't call a lot of penalties during the Cup, or are they talking to him, call a lot of penalties during the
Call
regular?
a lot of penalties, and then when the playoffs come, I hope they let up.
Yeah. So who is the best ref, Dad?
There is no best ref.
No such thing.
no such thing.
Well, you like John McCauley.
Well, John McCauley was the best referee of all time. He gave us 5 penalties in a row, and watched it all, and he said, "All right, that's enough," or something to that effect.
Well, I remember the time we were getting beat in Atlanta in the third period, and you said,
Yeah, Yeah. Yeah. I said, can we play straight time? And he said, well, I'll tell you one thing. There'll be no icings.
Yeah, he could control you guys, right?
Yeah.
Well, he just had to feel like, he just, that was the thing. He knew when to call penalties, when not to call the penalties.
When to call.
He never, all the riots that we had in Boston was never with John McCauley.
Never with John McCauley.
Okay, Dallas, so we got some questions. So what's the first one?
All right, from Stanley Binger. My grandfather was from Three Rivers, Quebec, and he knew Bobby Perreault's family. You played with Bobby in Rochester. Any good stories?
Oh, I could go on and on and on. He was a pretty good goaltender, too.
Yeah, you played with him in Rochester, right?
Yeah.
You won two Calder Cups with him.
Yeah, he was a pretty good guy. He was a pretty good guy, and he used to hang around with Les Duff all the time.
Yeah.
Les Duff.
So
Not Dick Duff. Les Duff.
less stuff. Brother of Dick.
Brother of Dick.
That's what he used to say.
So, what? I had a story in Providence. It was in Providence, and I'll never forget. He just left the game. And I figured he was hurt or something. Somebody was hurt or something. And I went to him and I said, "Were you hurt or what was going on?" He said, "Oh no, just caca." That was one story we.
Yeah. Well, you were saying one time he was in the warm up and
and Frank Mihaljevic let a shot go and just missed his head, and it was in a warm up.
Yeah.
It was on our team. He was on our team, and boy, Bobby went after him. Did he ever get you big galoot?
yeah. Remember you and I when we go out scouting down, we used to watch the warm up with the minor midgets.
Yeah.
And like the poor goalies.
They're useless.
Like
for
first
the
of all,
goalies.
they're 5 minutes, right? So like they get on the ice the warm ups are 5 minutes, and the kids are just showing off to their girlfriends, whatever. They're blasting pucks.
Blasting pucks have off their mask.
And the goalies wouldn't get a touch of the puck. And then remember how many times the first shot on net would go in.
First shot, bing bing, in the net.
B11. You played. That's you played.
That's why I got pulled pretty much, just because I wasn't warmed up. First two shots went in on me. That was my night done. From Blue Jet 13. Hey Grapes, the Jets are on a roll. Should they make a trade to be sure of their defense, or should they keep the team as is?
I would keep the team as is. As I made the biggest mistake. I made a trade for a center for a defenseman, and I thought the defenseman would get the shot on net. He missed the net. I mean, he missed the net. You can't believe how many times he missed the net.
I know. Well, you traded Greg Shepard, and I remember one time you and I were watching, on YouTube, watching an old game, and you were watching it, and Shepard played the power play, he took the draws, he killed the penalty, and you said, you're sitting there and you went, what the fuck did I trade him for? Look, he's on the ice the whole time. He would play the point on the power play.
Yeah.
Took the draws to kill the penalties.
Yeah.
Took a regular shift. Remember setting up Bobby Schmatz at overtime for the winner against Montreal. And then you sit there and go, why did I trade him?
All right, Hockey Dad 68. What's your feel-good story of the NHL this year?
Dustin and Wolf. I think so much of this guy. I just hope he gets to play in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it. He's like you and I, Dad. How many great goalies have we saw that just got wrote off because they were too short?
Yeah, they were too short.
They were too small.
Too small. And
he's heard that all his life, right?
Yeah, everywhere he went, he was too small.
And then too small. And then he makes junior. He's too small. Gets into the net. Plays well. Then he gets to the American League. Too small. Gets in net. Wins in the American League. Gets in the NHL. Well, he'll be too small. And I think he should be Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. Proved everybody wrong.
Dustin Wolf.
Because what was the stat, Del, that Calgary is 32nd?
Oh, yeah. They're tied for 31st.
For the worst goals for the least amount of goals for.
Yeah.
So they better have good. If you're not going to score,
You
better have good goal.
better have good goaltending. He has played great.
Black and Gold 24. Hey, Coach. 2 questions. 1. Why can't the Bruins score this year? They're 23rd in goals for. And the second question is, will they make the playoffs?
That I don't know if they'll make the playoffs. It's pretty tough. Pretty tough to jump over. Oh, they won the last game. Lost too many players.
Yeah. The one thing, though, Dad, you and I and Del were just talking, if they do squeak into the playoffs, they'd be a team you'd be afraid to play because all the crap that they've been putting up with.
Yeah.
You know, all they need is Marchand, Pasternak, and Swayman to get
Marchand was hurt his leg a little. I hope he's all right.
Yeah. I don't know. You said it, Dad, though, even halfway through last year, something was wrong with the Bruins.
Something happened to the Bruins. Somebody said something or did something. Something was wrong with the Bruins.
Boy, they do miss Bergeron, though.
Oh, do they miss Bergeron? Holy Dinah. I wonder why he didn't play this year.
It was funny that after the Canada Cup in Boston, the Four Nations face-off, he was there with his boys, and Marchand went over, and I think McDavid over, and I said, geez, he's in good shape. They could say, just get ready for the playoffs. Who cares about for the regular season? Just play the playoffs for us.
Play in the playoffs. No, I think the Boston Bruins made too many trades and got rid of their grit. That's the story, I would say.
It's true, though.
That'll be all over the internet on Tuesday.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All right, from Sabres 31. Grapes, why can't the Sabres get it together? They're last in the East Conference, and they rebuild. Wow, has going on for a decade now.
I don't know. It's hard to figure. Guys go there and they can't score. I don't know. I think
goaltending always seems to be an issue with them, no matter who they've gotten.
Yeah, they've gotten the goaltenders. Have been great the year before, and then they get them, and
they just. I feel sorry for the owner because he does pay the money. Like he paid Skinner a lot of dough.
He paid Skinner a lot of dough,
and then he paid Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
And then they had the problem with the neck thing, and it just seems to be one thing after another.
Yep.
Just. I don't know. I just can't figure it out.
Do teams get a culture? I hate to use that word culture. Sound like a guy, but like the culture of losing.
I don't know. It could be that Buffalo is got that culture. I remember Minnesota had that when we played them.
Yeah.
We played them all the time and beat them all the time, and they had a culture of blue.
Yeah, but the culture changed kind of when, we told the story before, Harry Sinden went on and blasted them how terrible it is. They mailed the 2 points coming into Boston.
Yeah.
You know what? And that was the change because there was riot after riot after that.
We had a riot after riot every time we played Minnesota. We never had an easy game.
No, but maybe that's what the Sabres need a big bench clearing brawl.
That'd be good.
Maybe they need bench clearing brawl and get it over with or something.
Something because it's too bad because the fans go out.
And they're half Canadian.
Yeah. Our fans go out there.
That's right.
From Story Horse 32. I read one of your books that you started coaching in high school team after retiring from professional hockey. What was it like going from professional hockey to coaching teenagers?
I remember my first game. I was really excited.
Pittsford High, right?
Well, yeah, Pittsford
High
High
in Rochester, New York.
In Rochester, New York, and
Were you nervous?
Oh, I was really nervous, and that's where I learned it. That's where I learned to change lines and everything. And that's where, and when I got made coach in Rochester, it was a piece of cake.
Yeah, so you kind of cut your teeth and.
Yeah, and I knew which guy's the bench, which guy's not the bench, and everything like that.
Well, I remember Mom and Cindy and I, we took those games. People aren't going to believe it, but we took those games as serious as the Bruins games.
No, as serious as the Bruins.
That's cool.
Yeah. Because we hated Aquinas. They were the rich.
The rivals.
Yeah, they were the rich school, and Well, Pittsburgh was well off too, but they were a rich Catholic school, Aquinas, and
I hated Catholics at the time.
and boy, I mean, talk about that! Like full, rink was jammed and people were going crazy, and it was exciting. And the first year we lost to them, and then the second year
he retired. The guy retired.
Yeah,
the guy I wanted to get.
And then the next year you had everybody come back because that year you had mostly sophomores.
Yeah.
And then the next year all the seniors came back and you went 18-0. And it wasn't even close. I mean, there wasn't even a close game.
And I could hardly wait till he quit. Really
pissed
me off. Pissed me off.
Guy. But that's where you learn to coach.
That's where I learned to coach, and I would tell young coaches that they want to learn how to coach. That's where they should go. They should go in the minor leagues and learn to coach. Well, Tim, you're taking a break. You're going over to China.
Yeah, for the next 2 weeks, we're going to run 2 Grapevine shows. We got Freddie Shiro coming up.
And what's the third one?
The next one is George Plimpton tells some great stories about...
Oh, yeah.
So people that don't know who George Plimpton is, he is an author that wrote, kind of embedded himself with sports, and he did that with the Bruins.
Yeah. I remember one time I went to have dinner with him, and I never ever did this again. I said, "Oh well, he's paying," I ordered lamb chops or something, and I broke a tooth.
Because you always have said to me, when you're going out, the other person's paying, you always get the special.
I get the special, and I usually. I figured, what the heck?
Yeah, but George Plimpton, I mean, he fought. He fought
Paper Tiger.
He fought Archie Moore. He was quarterback with the Detroit Lions. He played goal for the Bruins in an exhibition game, and talks about the biggest riot in NHL history. Wow. So that's 2 weeks, and then you have Freddie Shiro, interesting, talking about them when they played the Russians and after coming back.
And it's really interesting.
It is funny because he kind of goes on and says how they had a big game plan, but they basically ran him out of the building. That was Bob Cole, remember? They're going home.
They're going home. They're going home. And he said it 3 times.
Right.
They're going home.
Right. So I'm going away for a couple of weeks, but the Grapevine shows are great, and we'll talk to you when we get back.
All right.